Hey, hey everybody. Hey nobody. We're uh we're just hanging out with friends tonight. Like anybody who wants to come in and talk about nonsense or anything, you're welcome to hang out. My wife's out of town. I've got some setup stuff. Look at all these lights. Look at all this. Look at all this ambiance. You can't see it, but take a look at this. Look at this. Look at this. See, I did this today. Ceiling The whole ceiling is now lit up. So now I can make this from like blood red and all that nonsense. Okay. Everything's fancy now. Hey Digger Jim, how are you? Here, let's say hi to people. Hey. You're here early. Want to see something cool? Check out the altar. Oh. I've made an altar. So that throughout I can switch to this comic view and show some cool stuff that I've gotten. But anyway, really the point of tonight was just kind of to hang out, get to oh, there's Michael Ruiz. Hi, Michael. Hey, girl. Hey. Prayer hands. So really, it's just hanging out, just talking. Papa Ken Comics. How are you? Welcome. I was just telling everybody that you were going to be here. This is just us hanging out, having fun, talking about butts, talking about nothing. Me showing you stuff. Here, check this out. Look at this. This is the altar view. This is how high tech. This is how high tech we are. I can brighten it up with a goddamn flashlight. That's way too bright. That's better. Kinda. Spotlight. Hollywood. Old Hollywood. Yes, that's my favorite Vampirella cover ever. That is Vampirella number 85. Just that space nonsense. I love that shit. So, I mean, Papa Ken, yes, I am feeling much better. My wife was sick, super duper sick, and I caught it, and then but for me it was just like a brutal cold. Has Ken, have you been watching X-Men? You've been watching X-Men 97? I think everybody's just saying, "Hey, that's cool." Here, let's look at some cool stuff. We're still waiting. We're waiting for some friends to show up, but I want to talk to everybody. Oh, can we change the colors of the lights? Digger Jim, what color would you like? What do you prefer? I can go wild with this. Here, let me turn off the second camera because it's the phone that I use to control the lights. Make your requests known. Yes, still only 35 cents. I did send it to you. I believe I did. Yep. Yeah, it's in the Instagram. Okay, this is my phone. Whoa. Hello, Sean D. Currently, as of this moment, I'm getting requests to change the color of the light. I haven't. Blue. Abadi. Abadai. How's that treat you? Ooh, red. We can also do red. Ooh. Ah. That is hellish. But no, I think blue. Super chill. Much better. Much better in general. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, here we go. Oh, Richard's in the house. Here, is this working again? You guys missed it. This is the altar. And I can. Yeah. How's that treat you? Oh shit, you can't even see it. I just look stupid. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah, buddy. There's the altar. Throw some Hollywood lights up. See, this is how low tech we are. I set up everything. You'd think I put in such incredible work, and then I just I neglected the fact that there's no light source on the comic over there. But we do have an altar going, so I'll be showing off some cool shit. But in the meantime, she can hang out in the chill. Oh shit. Questions already. My biggest question for you. How did you switch from Marvel to DC? So I was a consummate Marvel reader. I read a lot of Marvel. Oh, here we go. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Hold on, let me get you up here. How do we do this? Remove. There we are.
Long time. I'm going to look at you.
been a minute. I was just answering this question real quick. I want to be respectful, and then we can start chatting. How did I switch from Marvel to DC? I was reading Marvel religiously, and I was really into the week to week stuff when Civil War was happening. So like during that, I was actually really big into it. And then I ran out. I literally ran out of things to read. I went to the Borders. I used to sit there with my wife in the big comfy chairs and just read for hours because she would read the magazines because magazines for women are way too expensive for what you get. So she would read the magazines and I would read the comics, and I read everything Marvel one day. There was nothing else to read, and then I hopped on to a Kingdom Come trade, having no idea what Kingdom Come was. And Matt, we all know what Kingdom Come is now, but imagine you had no idea what it was, and it was the first time that you saw it under no influence. There wasn't an older brother being like, you should read this. There wasn't like a friend that said, hey, I've got these books. I just found the goddamn thing in a store, and it blew my flipping mind. And so that is what got me into DC. Just seeing a talent like Alex Ross love DC made me love DC. David, do you mess with DC at all?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you should. Definitely should.
It's select. It has to be. There has to be a link, like Perez stuff, for instance. That's a big one. I'm collecting Crisis Run at the moment, and it's one of those where I'm probably reaching critical mass with Marvel anyway, and want to read other stuff. So, oh, we've lost you.
You also have like most of the big books, right?
Most. Not. You can never have all of them.
Oh, shut up. Okay. Fantastic Four.
Not all of them. I don't have number 1.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
No, in fact, I don't even have the whole, like anywhere near the whole run of that. I've only got like the John Byrne books and some select silvers. That's it.
Yeah, I bet you've got Hulk.
I've got Hulk.
X-Men.
Again, X-Men. But these are only the big books. Like that's.
Still, I mean, most people have only all the small books, so I'd say that.
Yeah, I'm doing it in reverse.
That's how collecting can work. You can either do all of the small books, and then barely any of the big books, or just the big books and almost none of the small books.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. So I've got a few on the wish list, which I haven't been able to crack. But most people sort of they save for that grail and want to get it graded because I'm looking for different, like the UK price variance, for instance. I tend to find it's a waiting game more than anything else. Not a, some people will go, I need to buy it this year. Whereas I go, do you know what? I can just sit and wait. It will come and I'll get a raw copy and I can grade that rather than buying something.
Like okay. So you're looking for the UK price variance. I think this is, I think this is interesting. We can do UK price. I'm typing with one hand because I'm masturbating. VA. No, you need. What I need is like if we're talking about like technology upgrades that I literally just need more USB ports. I'll be a happy boy with more USB ports. So let's do this.
Like 2 hubs that literally stick out of the Mac and I still don't have enough USB ports. And the other thing that's annoying about USB ports is that you have a USB-C, and on the hub, they only have USB, the standard USB, the bigger USB ones, the classic ones, and they never have a USB-C on them. It's anyway.
So do you have an AF15 UK price variant?
No. I bidded on one last month, which was on at Heritage. It went for, I think, without the buyer's premium, 70k.
Oof.
And it was a 6.5, I think. Yeah, it was a 6.5.
See, this is a good one. First Iron Man UK price variant. It's not bad. 12k.
$2,000. No, 12 grand.
12 grand.
I can't see it. My screen is very small on this new display I've got.
Here, let's see if I can do this. Probably make it better for everybody anyway. Look at that. Okay, we got
what grade? It's a
yeah. I think the UK price fair. I think it's crazy the prices people pay to not have that stamp.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. A 9.2 for 7,500.
Well, I think that might be mine.
Really? You like that?
I think that's actually mine. That might be myself.
Oh, like you're selling this.
My listing. Yeah.
Are you every day a story?
That's me. That's my.
This is not a sponsored video, folks.
No, don't. This is not a sponsored video.
This is not. Oh, look at all these great deals I just randomly stumbled upon.
No, but they're not mine. There's none of that. It's only that Moon Knight. That's that first appearance of Moon Knight. That's mine.
Yeah, it just. I don't know. Like, so do you angle specifically for the UK price variance? Do you?
No, not really. Not really. Look, if I found, it's just one of those things. If I'm going to buy it, I'd rather get the UK price range because it adds that extra element of rarity to what is normally I wouldn't say it's a common book, but
see, this right here is idiotic. This is idiotic. You can get this is just like
the $3,000. That is it. Yeah,
yeah. This is just one of the inflated prices ones. So they're not all great.
No, some of them, again, I do understand some people are just asking ridiculous money for them, but they should certainly be at parity with the US copies at the very least. But I do think there's this, there's a lot of people that just put prices on eBay and it's ridiculous. What was it I saw the other day? There was a ridiculous one, and I add books to my cart because in that way they send you offers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I add books to cart, and there was one. It wasn't a book, it was a trading card. It was one of those, I think I may have shown these, but these Marvel UK Top Trumps cards, right?
Yeah.
And they had one of those, which was the Spider-Man card.
Right.
And some person was looking for $100,000 for a PSA 10 graded card. And I was like, how could you even think that it is worth that much? Like, it's not that hard to find that. It's hard, but I've got 2 sets of those cards. Anyway, some of the asking prices on eBay are just ridiculous. And that's one of the things I learned when I first came into the hobby back in 2011, first but came back in. You'd go on eBay and you'd go, oh, look, you can get these prices. And no one told you that actually you need to do sold items. You can't look at what people are asking because that's not what a comic book is worth.
No, it's only worth what someone will pay for it. Or if you believe my wife, it's worth nothing because you won't sell it.
Yeah.
If you're not selling it, it's worth nothing.
It's worth absolute zero.
So this is what's sitting in my cart on eBay right now.
I saw your video on this. It's fascinating.
Dude, I've become unintentionally, the Addams Family guy. Just like the shit that I have that I've already amassed that nobody knew about. It's really, really fun. It's a great collection to have. Here, I'll even show you one.
The New Yorkers, right? It's an all is it New Yorker?
Yeah, New Yorker.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I was on Brannon's. I saw that show where you were talking through it.
Here we go. Okay, so right here in the middle, this is this is I'll turn on the light in a second. November 10th, 1945. This came in today. Let's put this on the altar. Yeah. November 10, 1945. This is I'll show you why it's special. I need to get like a ring light
downlight, yeah,
over here. I will though. I mean, as you can see, everything's coming together little by little.
It's all fucks. You've got your room looks a lot better than mine. I haven't got lighting like that. I need lighting like that. Mine's very stark.
Yeah, I love the lighting, and I just set it up today, so it's like all automated. Here, I'm trying to like move the altar has become dangerous because I'm like folding giant paper near this enormous
open flame.
Yeah, that is the first appearance of the Addams Family house. Oh fuck! There we are.
Nice.
Where's the light? Where's the light source coming? Here we go. That's the first appearance of the Addams Family's home in entirety.
So is that because I'm assuming because there were previous issues, right? I'm assuming they were in the house, but
it was always in the house. And there's one issue a couple months before this one. So okay, here's the thing about the Addams Family. You guys are getting a preview. I'm literally making the majority of the video this weekend. I thought I was going to have it out today. There's no universe where that's happening. It's the Shigeru Miyamoto quote: a rushed game will always be bad, but a delayed game will be good.
Yeah.
So I'd rather delay it and release it next week and make it perfect. I got a green screen and everything. But anyway, so the thing with the Addams Family that you need to understand is this wasn't a continuity. This wasn't a story. This wasn't and next week, any character development. It was like reading The Far Side. It was a single static image that sat there. And then you saw something spooky and you moved on. Well, you're kind of left because you don't have comic book rules of first appearance. Hi, my name is Peter Parker. I'm a student. You don't get that. What you get is you just get an image. And so sometimes you get an image that appears to be like a rough draft of a character, and you won't see them again for maybe 6 years. But like, do you count that body shape as the first appearance because that first appearance body shape was something they used over and over again? Or did they use it once and then they try to change the character? So then which one's the real first appearance? So in this case, there is a picture of what is undeniably the Addams Family house shape, but it's not a haunted house. It's a mansion of like a rich guy. The joke is that like in this big industrious city, there's this like Victorian house in the middle. And so that's kind of the gag in 1938. Like, oh, why didn't they build a building there too? It's just a house. But it's clearly the Addams Family design. So I would call that like a tryout, kind of like that Dr. Octopus tryout, the Dr. Doom tryout. It's not the real thing. But then before this, I think it's like 3 or 4 months before this issue, it's coming in the mail. There's another issue where it's the first time he draws a haunted house. It's a spooky house, but it's from behind. So we can't see that like big pillar up here. We don't see that, but like, because it's from behind. But the joke is it's like a haunted house from behind, and there's like a sheet for clothing, like a line for clothing, and there's ghost sheets hanging from it. So like, it's cute, it's adorable, but we don't know if that's the Addams Family house because it's behind. So like, even if it is, it's still not the whole thing the way that we know it. So you've got the tryout, that, and then this.
It's a Hulk 180.
But that's the thing. Everything in the Addams Family is a Hulk 180. Yeah. Everything is. Here we go. Are there interviews or anything to confirm? So I would love to just talk and get to know you guys. I'll ramble until I'm blue in the face, but like if anybody has any specific questions or anything you just want to talk about or like hear us ramble about, we'd love. Just throw it in the chat. How do you feel about dog sex? I don't like it. It seems unemotional the way they do it. If they faced each other, if two dogs faced each other, locked eyes, I know they don't have words, but there's a lot of emotion that comes through a dog's eyes. So I'm not crazy about dog sex. No one asked that.
No, I was just scrolling through to see if someone had actually asked that.
No one.
So I just watched the live stream on the CBC Awards.
Mm-hmm.
There's a category that has your name written all over it.
Oh God,
all over it, and I'm putting you forward. So
comedy.
Yes,
here's
without
hoping.
A shadow of a doubt.
Let's try, man. I promise, guys. I promise I will get you a light. I swear. Let me just put this book away. Oh, someone's best storylines, best comic runs. Go ahead. Yeah, pick one, David. One of each. It's a best storyline, then a best run. Best
storyline. My best comic run is Alan Moore's Captain Britain. Like I always keep going back to that. That's my best. And best storyline. The definition of storyline is like a single.
I mean, or like a 6-issue run, or
it's almost the same. I think the Dark Phoenix saga for me. That's because I grew up on that, and it's that descent into darkness and redemption. It's it got so many of us into comics in that era. So I think that's storyline of the Dark Phoenix. And just how just the artwork, Claremont working with Byrne. It was just they never. X-Men was never been the same since. It's been good, but it's just that to me is the epitome of X-Men storyline.
Best storyline, man, that's a good one. I loved when the Rogues accidentally killed Kid Flash. That was sick. So, okay, for those of you who don't know, Batman's villains are your favorite villains if you watch the TV shows and you watch the movies. If you read every comic book, you will love the Rogues gallery of Flash, the Rogues, that specifically more than you love the Batman villains. They have a code of honor. Their character, they're criminals, and they know that, and he knows that. But no one's crazy. They have ethics. They don't kill women. They don't kill children. It's almost like it's an entire team of Leon the Professional from the movie Leon the Professional. They're just sick characters. And so there's a storyline that happens before Infinite Crisis where they kind of get carried away and they kill Kid Flash, Bart Allen. And so there's a whole storyline involved where they've made it clear before, you don't kill Flashes. Everybody loves Flash. He's here to stop us. That's the game. Get the money, get out. You don't kill Flashes. And so they kind of take it overboard and they kill a Flash. And then, like, how do they treat each other after that? How do they go on the run? What do the heroes do? Because they know that they're not like this. So they're almost investigating on their behalf. It's sick. I love the Rogues. So I think that was a cool storyline. And then best run, I mean, do you get any better than Sandman? Is there, I mean, you might disagree with me, you might pick your own answer, but like no one will tell you you're wrong.
No. And that's the thing, it's also personal, right? It's time when you first read it, what it meant to you at that, what are the underlying themes? So yeah, I think you can never have the right. There's no right answer for any of this. It's just personal. Always going to be personal.
It's just personal. I like this one. Let's talk X-Men 97. What did you think of the last episode? Have you been watching X-Men 97 first off?
Yes, but I haven't seen the latest episode yet. But it's okay. We can do spoilers because, to be honest, it's like I've read it.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those. There's no real surprises. I saw the demons, which I wasn't sure where they were from.
This was a setup one. This is a part 1 episode. This is one of those. Cable plays a bigger part. Cable's working with mom and dad in this episode. They fully establish Bastion. Bastion is the villain. Yeah. I got these from Collecting Casually. He sent me a bunch of later 2000 ADs. Control, get me that pest squad. And he's fighting a bunch of rats. God damn. You know what? I found out what I liked about Judge Dredd. I found out how I like to talk about Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd is a sci-fi Conan. He's like a no bullshit. He's the same character. Like I mean, whether you're reading him in a book or whether you read him in the 70s or whether you're reading him today, he's the same character. He doesn't really change, but the world around him is what changed constantly. And so you get to see this like immovable force versus this unstoppable force and immovable object. And he's the immovable object. I love him.
I'm going to do a video. I got some books back from CGC, specifically 2000 ADs, and it was a nightmare.
Oh, you got slaughtered?
It's not so much slaughtered. I don't want to give away the video theme.
Sure.
But it's going to be one of the, those videos where you sort of go, oh, CGC sucks, or something like that. That's sort of like CGC destroyed my books. That sort of, sensationalism stuff. It's like, oh, are you kidding? Like, it's one of those. Not Happy Bunny.
Not Happy Bunny. You're ridiculous. I'm trying to fuck. This is how unprofessional.
Are you doing? You've got your trying to do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we're doing it live. Good. So so the most recent episode was it was a setup episode. I'm not crazy about Bastion as a character, because here's the thing, we're in the pits where I don't know what's going on. I was horrified over Genosha.
Did you ever? You must have known about that run and that part.
No, I didn't read that old. I didn't know. Like, and I knew some of the plot lines. Like, okay, so I was reading an X-Men book in the 2000s, and someone went like, blah blah blah, Genosha, and so I'm like, okay, well, that must have been a thing, but I never read it.
Yeah, that was. It's funny. They did it well. That episode was really good. Like, it was such a great episode. But I felt like they could have gone harder with it, because in the book, I hated the Morrison run, because I really just felt like he was just out to destroy everything. But then by that point, I'd been out of X-Men for a while, so it's just, but the impact of that storyline, you can't, even if you didn't like it, you can't deny, it was just they built this utopia up, and that everything was great, and then they just demolished the whole thing. And it was that whole period in the early 2000s with Marvel where they were just, let's just make everybody depressed. Let's just kill everything. Let's try and restart everything. And that's why they did the Heroes Reborn arc, and why they went back to positivity, because they realized they were like digging holes and destroying everything they'd built up.
Well, I mean, speaking of like tearing things down, this is, I don't know if you've read Identity Crisis. It's a DC event, 7 issues. That's rough. That's a rough story. That's a story that you can't sell to your friends without sounding like a creep. Like, you can't be like, oh yeah, it's really cool, and then this like villain like sexually assaults one of the hero's wives, and it's like a mystery, but it's really interesting. Like, you can't sell that and sound normal, but it's a great read. Brad Meltzer is the writer. He's like a mystery writer, and they tapped him to write that 7-issue series. So if you have a strong stomach, that'll be a good series. Here we go. Do either of you read current comics? There's a lot of good right now. Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Black Panther, Twilight Avengers, Green Lantern, World's Finest, Absolute Power Event. Good Lord. Do you read any of those?
I was toying with Ultimate Spider-Man. I know the storyline behind it. Never got... here's the problem, right? I think because everyone was speccing on that book, I didn't get a chance to pick it up. And so therefore I just put it to one side and said, I'll come back to it when it does come cheap. And I almost went into my LCS this week to just have a look and see what was out there. And I'm toying with going in this weekend for Free Comic Book Day. But it's just, I tell you what I am reading, Captain America. I got onto that by John at Bronze and Modern Gods. He had some extra issues, and he gave those to, I got those off him. So I've been reading that. That's actually good. Like, that's old Captain America again. It's, they're really leaning into that. So, and I should get back into moderns. I've just been so focused in terms of going back and getting all of the old stuff and rereading all of the old stuff. Like, that's the important piece, rereading it.
I mean, so what am I reading right now? Right now I'm reading volume 3 of Wish You Were Here, the Crossed direct to trade series. I haven't finished that, I'll be honest. I own and have read all of Crossed except for this, and the reason why it's taking me so long is because there's I think there's 5 trades. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 trades of this series of Crossed, and this is it's not the last thing that we got, but it's one of the last things that we got of Crossed. The issue that I have is, once I'm done, I'm done. There's no more Crossed to read. And so there's this part of me that's like, because they're not making anymore, as long as I'm holding off, as long as I'm slow rolling this series, it's not gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is the challenge, isn't it? I was thinking about this the other day. You've got a finite pool of this old material, and to your point, you want to sort of drip feed it, because otherwise, once you get to the end of it, there's nothing else to read.
Yeah, you can only read the Ramita Spider-Man run one time.
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah. You can You can reread it, but
You can reread it,
you
but
won't get the same sensation.
No, we're all chasing that dragon.
And I loved Mike's video recently. Lunch Money Comics. What was the one where he picked up that box? He got the collection from that pawn shop, and he was like, "I don't have. There's not many keys in here, or it's very limited." But the thing that I love was just going through all of those books and just the nostalgia he was feeling. So I really enjoyed that episode where he was, just that said to me, just that's the moment when you pick up a box, and that one where you found those Judge. I'm so jealous of you, by the way. When you went comic hunting with him, and you dug under that, under the boxes, and you found these Judge Dredd issues that were just languishing. No one was going under, and you pulled those away. I was like,
it's the best feeling.
It's so good.
But I have to say, if you're patient and you're curious, you can still find those deals that feel great in person online. Let me show you. If this just came in today, if you go on eBay right now and you look up this comic, the lowest price copy for a decent copy is about $200. I found it for a buy it now a buy it now of like 170 or best offer. I sent 130. We went back and forth, and I sent the guy in a message, look, I love the book. I'd love to have it, but with shipping, I want to get it down to 150. He agreed at 150. Okay. Addams Family #1 and a 4.5. Neat. Okay. Nice. Maybe not impressive. Double cover.
No. Nice. Again, this is one of those things that I'm into. Like, I want a book that has a little bit of difference, and that's the perfect example. It's just, you could get this normally, but to have that double cover, that makes it just that little bit extra and a little bit more special.
But my logic behind it is it's a double cover, and like if you want any of your books to have two heads, it's the Addams Family.
The Addams Family, yeah. And
it means so much to me. And I'm like, so like having an issue 1 was cool, but having an issue 1 double cover, I found this online, $150. If you said tonight, like, wow, I really want this issue, that pink cover is so sick, I want a copy of that. You're going to go on eBay and you're going to pay $200 for a regular cover in worse condition, but a double cover, you can still find crazy deals online. You just have to like look for stuff that I don't know how to say this without sounding like an elitist fuck, but like, you have to be looking in the direction where everyone else isn't looking.
Yeah.
If 10,000 people are looking to the right, you really should start looking left, and you'll find crazy deals like this all the time. You just gotta look left.
We have a saying, my wife and I always say to her, always look up. Because you see so many interesting things when you look up in the city. And so it's similar to the phrase where you're, look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all.
I have something that I wanted to show you actually, which is going to be on my stream on tomorrow. Not tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? What day is it? It's Friday there for you, right?
It's Friday for us, yes.
Yeah. On Sunday night for your time. And I'll give you. This is the one I want to show you. This is out of all of them. I've got a whole bunch of these. Right, they're all.
Oh, those like almost annual kind of covers.
Yeah, those are the UK annuals. So look, just the crazy sort of just hardcover reprints of Marvel. But the one that I found in this lot that they gave me, there's a couple of really cool. Yeah, here we go. These two intrigue me the most.
Look at that. What's wrong with his face?
It's the most. It's not him. It's basically that is obviously someone in the UK has drawn that, right? Like that's not come from
this from behind. If you look at his head from behind, that's a penis. Like if you saw that man from behind, that drawing of the thing from behind, that's a penis.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's a domed head.
Oh, I see where you're going with that. Yes.
Do you see it?
Yes. It's a rocky. It's one that's like dried up.
Oh,
let's not
get
go.
Some Aquaphor.
But this is the one I really love. This is that's so 1960s sort of.
I like that Kirby Cap emulation. That like the Disney teeth they give Cap.
Yeah. Well, that's on. Yeah, it is a Kirby. It is a Kirby. So it's on the back. And the thing that's interesting about this one, and what I'll go through it, is that it's got like all these sort of inserts, but rather than being comic strip, it's all printed stories.
Oh, cool.
So it's and you've got like Ant-Man. Like, look at this. It's just a written story with just a couple of illustrations.
But who?
And I didn't even know.
Did they give credit to the author who wrote that?
I cannot see any credits for the authors of these.
That's obnoxious. So like this Addams Family book, they don't give you any information about who wrote it, who drew the cover, nothing on the thing. I hate it when they do that.
Terrible. Yeah, there's like nothing in here about who's written any of this. Oh no, hang on, tell a lie. Stories and features. Here we go.
Who wrote it?
Douglas Enifer? Yep. A. Tyson and John W. Elliott. No idea who they are.
John.
Cover artwork by R.W. Smithhurst. And story illustrations by M.K. Powell. So, yeah, it's pretty good. And there's like, how many stories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 23 stories in here.
So Thrift Books has 2 books by John. He was a British novelist. John Herbert Elliott was a British novelist, screenwriter, director, and television producer, active from 1954 to 93.
Wow.
He between 54 and 60, he scripted a succession of one-off television plays, including A War in the Air and A Man from the Sun. A Man from the Sun was a pioneering work aimed at West Indian audiences. Thanks, Google.
So interesting. I can't wait to go through this. It's gonna be fun. But then they're so. This is the stuff I grew up on.
See, let me make it big. I'd rather have. How do I get you to be the primary? Here we go. Boom. Show that shit. Show that shit off. I want to see that goddamn book again.
So this, like, they just.
Oh, look at that.
You get stuff like that, like just, and this was in the 1978 annuals. It was across all of them. So this is just unified the whole. So you'd have this front and back of the book. But it was, it's just such a nice thing to get back. Titans.
Titans.
The Titans.
A punch and a nihilist right in the face.
Yep. The Avengers. Avengers.
Yeah, see, I'd rather have rare and ridiculous, quite frankly.
Well, yeah. Oh, look at this. So I love stuff like this that they'd have in there. And it's just a past, like, just grabbed every single hero from different.
Even Man Thing's in the front. They put Man Thing in the front row.
Yeah. There's a Conan story in here, actually. So talking about Conan. Why you'd have a Conan in the Avengers? Yeah, that's weird. Like, why would you have a Conan story in the middle of an Avengers?
Well, I mean, Marvel had the licensing right?
Yeah. Then you go all the way back. This one's one of my favorite covers. Look at this.
What? Oh, he like picked up the cannon.
Yeah, and he's throwing the guys up. But I don't think this. I think this was. I'd love to be corrected. I think this is just for this annual. I don't think I've ever seen this piece of art anywhere else. So,
Digger Jim, I'm sorry if you're check your God damn it, check your Instagram. I just sent you the link. I'm like looking at like 3 screens, but I just saw it. He said if you send me the link, you'll join. Here we go. So
I love that book, by the way. That it's a pink cover, right?
Yeah, it's all pink. I dig
Wow.
I dig it quite a bit.
Oh, That's Golden Key, right? As well.
Yeah. So there. Okay, this is an interesting one. You know how like
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh, they're effectively just reprints. This is an example of not. If you see this book, the Whitman variant came out at the exact same time. They printed them at the exact same time. So if you see the Whitman variant, there is no difference. Here he is.
Hey,
Digger Jim, how are you?
Hey,
and how are you?
Oh, let me get
I've
rid of
lost
this
I love
one.
that Adams Family. Oh, you can keep the Adams Family. You don't need to put me on there.
Oh no, you're more valuable than the Adams is.
I just wanted to, how can I put this? I'm man crushing a little bit on you, Ricky.
Oh,
I'm just gonna say it.
go on.
My wife might think I have an issue
Oh, good.
because I was watching your last episode and I was laughing some, but at the same time, I'm like, God darn, this dude is sick and still putting out the videos. My hero.
Aw.
And I mean, I've got a little extra right here in the middle. And when you weren't showing your walking or your running or whatever it is you're doing, I was like, he did not quit that shit. There's no fucking way he quit. He's playing all the good music, all the Rocky shit.
Yeah.
He's got to keep going. Something must be going on. And then you posted it was sick. That I was like, all right, somebody's sick. I get it now.
So I like for 1 week I had an injury and I like legit like I was like talking to my wife who used to run. She doesn't since she got sick, and she's like, yeah. So I was like, I've got this injury. What do I do about it? And she's like, honestly, you just have to stop. You have to. It sucks, but you have to stop running. And I was like, okay, cool. So I took a week and a half off for that, and then I got sick with this. So it's like tomorrow I'm gonna run. That'll be fun. But yeah, running's fun.
Well,
so what, Digger? What
fun? It's not fun, but what it is, it brings your heart rate up. It gives you exercise. It helps to get things moving in the right direction.
Well, you also get I get to just an excuse to listen to music. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like if I drive, I usually am driving the wife, and then I have to concede my music. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's by committee. Whereas if I'm running, it's just me. I can listen to all the sped up pop songs to sound like the Chipmunks are singing them I want.
Yeah, there you go.
Funny, I used to do the music thing, and I switched to YouTube now. So I do a lot of YouTube, like listening and not necessarily watching, but listening to YouTube when I'm running now. But I'm with you, Ricky. I used to be that. That was the moment where I could zone out,
right?
Listen to music, chill.
Yeah, but it has to be, like. It has to be something that's going to keep me running. Oh my God, I can't think of the name of it now. It's the song from, it was an old 80s. It had a Madonna song in it, but it had the, oh, Jesus Christ. Now I'm drawing a blank after I get on the thing with you. Hold on. There's a song that I love to listen to if I'm going to run, and I can't think of the name of it now. Only the Young by Journey.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because there's a movie from the 80s that had a real young Matthew Modine, and and it's such a simple movie. I mean, he's playing a high school wrestler, but he wants to drop weight to wrestle the big dog, the guy that's the number one. And it's this whole, I'm a senior and I'm trying to make my mark, and he's in love with this older woman and this whole thing. But that song is what he runs to. And I was like, damn, that's a good song to run to. And you see him running all over what I think is basically Pittsburgh, but I'm not sure. It kind of looks Pittsburghy where they filmed it maybe, but I don't know.
Have you been watching XMen 97? I
did. Yeah, I have been watching it. I loved Rogue just basically going up to Cap and is like, we're not going to do this. If you're not going to tell me what I want, you're not going to need this shit. And threw that shield away. I was just like, yes, thank you. I love the fact that she went nuts. The whole premise of the story, everything you said in your video is exactly what I said the first episode with Scott blasting away. I'm like, that's new. I never saw that before.
Yeah, I like Magneto lifting people up above the planet and saying, "Don't make me let you down." Like, with his foot on the racist's face. Like, I will drop you. Yeah, and now all those t-shirts are selling all over the internet. Magneto was right. And he kind of was.
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I honestly, I'm way older, so I wasn't deep into the 97. And, in 97, I was, trying to make a mortgage and stuff. I wasn't thinking about watching the cartoon as much. But when it came on, I would be like, oh, this is cool. Let's watch it. Because I liked X-Men. And I'm like David, the Dark Phoenix saga was probably my gateway into the X-Men.
For the cartoon, it was for me, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But I always I liked X-Men with the cartoon, but I always felt like, and I also got the sense this season, X-Men 97 as well, there's always an element of rushing the storyline, like the life-death arc that they did.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I'm Forge, and I'm a friend of Professor Xavier, and we've just fallen in love. Amazing. That's like, no, that's not how it happened.
I felt that the most with Goblin Queen. I was like that. That felt like it should have been like 6 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's the problem. They've got these storylines, they're jamming everything in, but they're not necessarily giving them the time to breathe. That's my only complaint. It's my only complaint.
Yeah. Okay. So if your only complaint is, I wish there was more of it, they're onto a good thing.
Spread it out like a norm. So that's what X-Men is. They take storylines and they never resolve them for years. Like, that's not you don't just do it in one episode. Storm does not fall in love and then get her powers back in one episode. That's not how it worked.
And so they are doing a second season.
Yeah.
And apparently it's done. But then they lost their showrunner because apparently, I don't know the details. Please don't hate me, anybody who ever watches this, but they dropped him like unceremoniously, really quickly. They fired him. And right? Apparently he had like an OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
And so that was, that's the limit of the story that I know, but they got rid of him because
Patreon.
Yeah, I guess.
It's very funny to me that people, and maybe it's just me, but everywhere that I have ever worked, when you go, I mean, usually they have you're signing your health insurance, you're signing up for your 401k, and they go, oh, by the way, here is our list of rules. Okay, here are the do's and don'ts of things you don't, what you do here doesn't get, because I work for like a subcontractor who's for the Defense Department. So there are things that I will not talk about that I do at work. Okay, that's one of the rules. It's written in the document. But one of the things they say that always cracks me up is people are like, well, I'm not doing that. That's not part of my job. I'm like, did you read the contract? Because at the bottom, it says other duties as assigned, which means if they assign you to clean the toilets, that's another duty. You'll go clean the fucking toilet or you won't have a job. And I hate it when people say that. And I'm pretty sure that there are contracts saying you can't have an OnlyFans site. You can't do these things where you make money. Because it's a reputation.
Reputational damage, like that's it's usually that type of clause.
It's in there. I guarantee you, it's in there. Sure. And these people act all surprised because they don't read it, because it's like the fine print in an insurance.
I do think if it was any other company, he would have been fine. It's the fact that it's Disney. It's the fact that this is something that I think Marvel fans need to like reckon with, like emotionally Marvel fans need to reckon with this. The idea that like your deep connection to these characters that you grew up with are controlled by a company that makes Mickey Mouse underoos. And that's where they make the majority of their money, Mickey Mouse underoos.
Right.
The comic book that you love more than anything is a drop in the bucket next to Mickey Mouse underoos.
Right.
And so like that's a hard pill to swallow, I think, for a lot of people when they're like, oh, why don't we have more rated R stuff? Why does this the underoos?
Marvel went bankrupt, you fools, and they couldn't do it. They didn't do it the right way. There you go. There's your answer. Somebody asked a question about, how should James Gunn build the DCU? And I wrote very carefully, because I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to take his time. Don't rush it. You're always going to have haters on it, but he can definitely do it better.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how he plays it. I like the idea of the Creature Commandos doing that for, like, I think
yes.
I that to me that's the right direction to go. Like, if Marvel won't do horror, like, I loved Werewolf by Night. I thought they did a great job with that. I want more of that because it felt completely different. But I just know James Gunn is going to smash it with Creature Commandos, because that feels right up his wheelhouse. I'm very worried about Superman Legacy though, because I just don't know where he's going to go with
every time I get more information about it, I'm reminded that it sounds more and more like All-Star Superman. And it does, and that I don't hate that, because that was a reminder that, like, look, most of Superman is goofy. Like, most of Superman is goofy. And so, like, if you really want to get into, like, it's called Superman Legacy. If you want to get into the legacy of Superman, we're talking about the fifth dimension. We're talking about Bizarro World.
Bizarro World. I was going to say that. Bizarro World. I mean, some people were like asking, I can't remember. I was watching something and they were talking about, the casting choice for Jonathan Kent. They didn't really care for that person. And I'm like, well, it's his, it's such a small part of it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
So I'll defend it. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know what direction they're taking of it. But when I saw him, and I can guess, one, he's a competent actor. He was on Deadwood. He played a character named Mose. Okay. Definitely a D tier character, but he held his own with, like, the likes of Ian McShane, Timothy Olyphant. It was an ensemble cast. He did a great job. Look him up on the Deadwood if you want to see him be a good character. But I think it's a fun kind of visual. I don't want to say like gag, because I'm not making fun of the guy, but it's a fun visual that Superman, the fittest, sexiest dude on the planet, and he listens whole hog to this short, fat little man, because that's Pa.
Yeah.
Like, all the times in the comics where Superman, there was this beautiful scene. It was in Final Crisis. It was Grant Morrison, and it was Superman, and he's sitting on the front porch talking to his dad. And they're talking about how Martian Manhunter was just killed. And they liked him because they invited him over for Christmas, because, of course, they're the Kents. And they go, his dad says, what's the plan, boy? They killed your friend. And he goes, we're going to give him hell, sir. And he goes, watch your language. And then there's silence. And then he goes, but give him hell. And he goes, yes, sir. And so it's like he's allowed to say hell because he's dad.
Right.
The literal strongest living creature on the planet follows orders because that's fucking dad. Dad just told you to watch your language. Your mom's in the house. How dare you say hell? Like, we raise you better than that. So I like that dynamic. And he's like a salt of the earth kind of working man, like a Dan Connor kind of thing is what I'm getting.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I don't know if you watched. Did you watch any of the new, the last one on the CW that they did with the Superman and Lois and the family? Did you watch any of that?
We watched. My wife and I. We watched the first, I want to say, like 6 or 7 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But as it started to become an action show, she lost interest, and I thought it looked stupid. Okay. So there was no one in the room to advocate for it anymore.
I think as far as I'm this is why I'm so bad. I think I'm starting to get dementia. The guy who played Superman, I liked how he was able to be not only Superman and he could still play the bumbling Clark Kent, but he was also a father. There was an episode where one of his sons, the one that isn't superpowered, gets kind of knocked around by this older guy. Like, could have been his dad. And he went and found him in the diner and was like, you don't get to do that. That's my job. You don't get to do it. And the way he handled it, but it was like real close to, like the guy, I think, threw a punch at him and he just kind of like pushed it back like that. And then he was just like, you could feel that tension of he was so close to just saying, I think I'm just going to rip your arm off, and beat you with it. And I just love that. I love that he got to be the angry dad. And you don't see that in any of the other stuff because they don't show him with children in any of the other shows. But
so that's the worst thing. People complain all the time about Jonathan Kent, the son, and his arc and him being gay. And I'll be honest, I don't care. I really don't care. I actually think that like gay might be an allegory for the new type of alien. So it didn't bother me. What bothered me about Bendis's handling of that character was we had never gotten to see Superman be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we had a kid and Superman gets to be a dad. And it was fun. And the Super Sons with Damian and Jonathan Kent it was great. It was a really good time. The worst thing Brian Michael Bendis did wasn't make Superman's son gay. It was that he aged him up.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, no, I needed at least a decade more of the most powerful man in the planet pushing his son on a space bike.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I needed those weird stories.
Right.
I needed all of that.
Do you think that was his doing or DC's?
I 100% him.
Bendis.
100%
sure.
him. They gave him the keys to the castle. They advertised in comic books for months. Bendis is coming. Like he's gonna do. We're gonna give him anything he wanted, and nonsense.
I mean, he does some good stuff, but equally does he's another one of these, like the Morrison run for X-Men, is a teardown. Master.
Well, it's the George Lucas effect. It's you're so big, you're so famous, you're so smart, you're so respected. No one can actually tell you no. Like you can like if Brian Michael Bendis is in a room of 12 intellectuals and he's making a point about like, no, this is the way the story should go. I feel like he could convince me. Like he could just browbeat me into believing him because he's fucking Brian Michael Bendis. He's a smart guy.
He's done stuff like that all new X-Men run that he did. Oh, let's bring the old X-Men. Let's time shift them.
Yeah.
To face the new X-Men. So it'll give him a bit of a wake-up call. And it's like all that what was it, like 4 years? It was a mess. It was
it was like the younger version of the X-Men living along the adult version, right?
It was a great idea. But then leaving it, like just literally doing the story and then just throwing his, like all the here's the landscape, now everyone else go and fix it. And to some degree, I think Hickman did that with the whole House of X for, in terms of Krakoa era. It's like
I haven't read
everything. But where do you go from there? Like now they're immortal and they can't die. It's like, how do you put that genie back in the bottle?
You do a hard DC scrub and destroy the whole world and start over again. I mean, I don't know. It's DC's crazy.
I mean, you got to be okay with the multiverse if you're down with DC.
Well, the other thing, it's like you look at Marvel. They with Secret Wars, the second series, when they tried to do that, and they reset all the they didn't do anything. Like it was going to be a hard reboot, and it never ended up being anything. It was just basically a soft. Let's bring everything together again. I think Marvel needs at some point, like an Age of Apocalypse or House of M event again, something really big to sort of shake it all up and get it.
There's only a handful of books that I'm reading that's current right now, and I do that on purpose because for a while there I was going, especially during COVID, I think I was just getting everything, all these different books, and I'd have this big stack, and I'd get behind on the reading, and finally I just said, this is crazy. I mean, I really want the older books that I grew up with. Why am I doing this? I mean, I haven't read anything that's just, there's been a couple of indies that I've absolutely loved, but the rest has kind of been like, eh. So I just nailed it down to like, maybe here's good 5. And then if I come across an indie that I love, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Look at this nonsense. Who the hell saw this coming? They're making an Evangeline movie.
Oh, I heard about this.
What in the sweet tap dancing Christ? Is this where we are out? Is this where we are? Is this what we?
This is they're scouring the bottom of IP rights.
They're beneath the barrel, and they're just got cups of dirt.
This is like we found this.
They're just writing it though, probably. I mean, I don't know if this will ever be made.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they got a package and they put Margot Robbie's name on it or Olivia, well, like if they put like together like a little presentation, they were like, look, if you wanted to drop the coin and you got Olivia Wilde, she'll get wild and she'll start dating all the cast.
She'll get crazy with you.
But it's such a funny one for like
what a weird choice.
It's a weird choice, exactly. And I'm looking at it and going, that won't be like, if you were a fan of the original book, God help you, then like it's not going to be the same at all. Like just look, it will not be. There'll be a message attached to it. It will be a very different character portrayal. So,
you know what this is? You know what this is? This is hey mom, can we get Tomb Raider? And then mom says, we have Tomb Raider at home. this is we have Tomb Raider at home.
Yeah. This is exactly right. But weird things happen. I watched an interview actual Dracula did with Chip Zdarsky, and I love some of Chip Zdarsky's work, not all of it, but some of it. And I just finished Newburn, and I loved Newburn. I thought Newburn was just something different. It's not a hero book. It's not a it's just a whole different spin on how things can be in between the mafia and the police, and how he's in the middle helping settle the differences basically for the mafia. I don't know if either you guys read it. And I typed in the comments while he was interviewing him, and I said, hey, my brother and I were talking, and we were just wondering who you would cast to play if Newburn were to be a movie. Who would you cast to play to be Newburn? And he kind of gave not a real answer, and I was like, that's not a real answer. And he said he said, I'm not giving you a real answer because it was really weird. I wrote a script. They asked me to write a script. I wrote a script. I was in talks with one of the movie studios, and they asked me to write a script, and I'd never written a script, and I was excited. I got to write a script, and they bought the script, and they bought the whole thing, and they said, this looks great. And then they fired everybody. And so he said, what's going on with my script? And they said, well, we're firing everybody, and we're giving you all your stuff back, your IP and everything. So you do it. So he's going to try and shop it around again because he thinks it would be a good TV show or movie. And I do too. So you never know. This could just be written and then just be put in a freaking drawer. That's the whole point of that story is it comes and it goes like that.
Yeah. Nowadays, if two executives have lunch, we're hearing about it.
Right.
Like someone's reporting on it.
Yep.
Here we go. Top 10 best comic books ever ranked by Screen Rant. Okay. Let's see if we agree. Number 10, Sin City. I would chalk it up to, I'll put it this way. I can accurately determine someone's age if they put this on their list. I can tell you exactly how old the person who wrote this is. I'm going to say this guy is 43. He was like 16 when this book came out.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, okay. This guy's he just turned 40. I
did not read any. I've never read Preacher.
No,
Preacher is it's a literary game of telephone where you'll be reading the story and being like, okay, this is where it's going to go. And then they pass the story to the guy and he goes, yellow monkey. And then now there's a yellow monkey in the story. And you're like, well, that's ridiculous. And it keeps going, but the yellow monkey works. Okay. And then they pass it again. And then some kid goes, broken dishwasher. And then now that's an integral part of the story. The story just gets weirder and weirder, but in a way that makes sense. And I don't know, it has like an internal logic to it, but it's just a wild time. Can't recommend it enough. I disagree with this. Batman Long Halloween.
You didn't like the Long Halloween?
I wouldn't put it top 10 of all time. I mean, I liked it just fine.
Yeah.
I liked him.
I think it's one of the top 10 Batman stories. I'll say that.
What do we get here? Number 7, Kingdom Come. Okay, sure. That belongs in the top 10 list.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you, when that came out, and again, I wasn't I was too busy focused on keeping my house than to worry about comics. And my brother got it and he read it and was like, bro, this is getting me back into comics. You need to read this. And I was like, okay, give it here. And it was the art that I've always been more of an art guy, and my brothers have been always more of the story. But this one, actually, the story and the art fits so well that I was like, damn, I may have to start looking at comics again. It's figuring out how I can fit that in the budget.
Yeah, I mean, and they're now that they printed them to high heaven. They knew what they had. Yeah. So this is a cheap book. You can get this.
I got the whole set at Heroes Con last year for like, I don't know, $10 or something. It was.
I think I spent $30 for the series, but you got to get the Kingdom. It's those like the spin-off books where where like
I found one of those in the dollar bin, but
you can.
Yeah.
V for Vendetta. I love this book.
Mm.
Well, it's Alan Moore, so
I can guarantee you the top 5 is going to be all Alan Moore.
You think?
Yeah. It doesn't. It feels like that's where we're heading here. Like if FIFA, what number is this? 5.
This is 6.
This is 6. If FIFA Vendetta is number 6. Killing
Alan Moore, number 5.
Moore.
Killing Joke. There he is.
Yeah.
I just learned like maybe 3 weeks ago, Alan Moore hates this book because of what it did to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
He hates it. He feels responsible for like everyone thinking of Batman is a grim, dark character. And he's like, dude, he fought aliens for like 30 years. Year One. I don't agree with that.
Ooh, that's a great. Okay.
But for number 4 of all time,
no.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. You know,
Sandman. Like if Sandman's number 3, there's no way this is good company. Like we're gonna go from Batman Year One and then one step up from that is Sandman. That Sandman's not at number 1. I think it's gonna be something Swamp Thing related.
All right.
I think they're gonna give it to Swamp Thing.
Oh, this
is a British heavy list.
It is very.
Dark Knight Returns. Ah, man, a lot of Frank Miller on this. Your silence is telling.
So it's got to be Watchmen at number 1. It has to be.
It has to be.
But the question is, where's Swamp Thing in here? Like I would have
put Swamp Thing over Batman Batman Year One. I would have definitely put that over Batman.
Yeah.
And Watchmen. I mean, who didn't see that coming?
Yeah, it is a seminal piece. It's just not ever going anywhere ever.
So I recently reread it about I want to say a year and a half ago now, and my favorite parts were the last couple pages of every book was almost like universe building apocrypha, where at the end of like issue 4 or whatever, the last like 5 pages is size 10 font excerpts about birds written by Night Owl when he was in college.
Right.
And or like you get little things like that, and it doesn't really contribute or move the story forward sometimes, but like the interview with Ozymandias is unedited and they recreated it. That was really cool.
Did you ever read Nowhere Men by Image, which takes a lot of those cues from that? It is comic strip, but then there's this whole bunch of ads and all completely unrelated to the characters, but just universe building. And it's they took that directly from Watchmen in terms of just building that stuff out. And they did a good job. It's a shame that it only ran for 11 issues. They never actually finished it. They had issues with the artist, but again, if you can ever get a chance, Nowhere Men, it's a great book to read.
See, everybody's talking. I feel like I have to read Ultimate Spider-Man. It's like everybody's talking about it right now.
It's good. I mean, it's different. It's a different spin. I mean, I have been a champion for, my God, will you let Peter Parker grow up? Just let him grow up. Even, I mean, you know, I feel like he needs to age up a little bit. Just
so is it?
And that's what they're doing.
For someone who doesn't know what the fuck is going on, is it just like another retelling of Spider-Man?
No. It's an alternate it's sort of like an alternate reality. The Maker in this version of it, the maker has gone back and captured the spider that would have bitten Peter to be Spider-Man. So he ages up. He's like 40 some years old or whatever. He's got 2 kids. He never became Spider-Man. But in the process of him not being Spider-Man, there were so many other heroes that didn't get made as well. And now the world is controlled by sort of like a conglomerate type thing, and the Kingpin's involved in it. And Iron Man, oddly enough, was Tony Stark was the one that figured out that by this not happening, and somehow it was a bad scenario, and somehow he gets the spider to Peter, and even though he's passed away, and he leaves the spider for Peter, or sends a box with the spider with powers in it, and he gets bit and he turns into Spider-Man now. But imagine Spider-Man at 44 and doesn't know shit. That's what you're getting. And oh, by the way, he has 2 kids and he married MJ, and he's still trying to find his way. So it's different. It's a different spin, and that's the only reason why I'm reading it. It's because it's something not like what they used to have.
And isn't it about the fact that he makes the choice to be Spider-Man?
Yes.
Time?
I mean, he didn't just arbitrarily say, like when it came open, he was like, I don't know what this is, but I think if I get, if he lets the spider bite him or whatever, he knows something's going to happen. I mean, it's not like he just said, oh shit, I got bit. I mean, so it was a choice, but at the same time, he felt like something was wrong and he needed to change, and this was the change he got. And Ben's still alive in it. Uncle Ben's not dead.
Yeah, Uncle Ben's still alive.
I love that. Him and, oh shit. May's dead. That's right. May's dead, but he's not. And him and Jonah Jameson have pretty much said, screw the Bugle. It's owned by Kingpin, his flunkies anyway. We're going to start up our own newspaper.
So initial reaction, not having read it. Everybody likes it. I'm the asshole who hasn't read it. My initial reaction is, doesn't it sound a little fanficky?
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, look, and I'll give you a good example. I went and saw Beekeeper, the movie. Okay, I knew what I was getting. I was in the mood to see somebody never get shot, beat the crap out of people, blow stuff up, and I was going to get some puns with beekeeping involved. It was exactly what I wanted. It was total Jason Statham fanfare, and that's what I wanted at the time. I wasn't looking for Oppenheimer. I was looking for Beekeeper. So if you're not looking for something like that, you have to take it for what it is. I mean, not every comic book's going to be like, whoa, this totally blew me off the gourd. Sometimes you just want that story, something that you see. Man, you're going for the obscure, aren't you? Javelin.
I mean, he was just in that Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
Hector Hammond is. I think he's weirdest. I think he's weirdest. He's the weirdest to explain. He's got a giant irradiated head. Like if someone doesn't know comic books at all, like that's. And they're like, yeah, but what about him? And I was like, no, I just told you everything.
Is this like a
giant
top 10
irradiated head? He's psychic and he has a giant irradiated head. That's all you need to know.
Is this like a top 10?
Yeah, top 10 weirdest Green Lantern villains.
Right. You've just gone down a rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely got him.
Sonar. Sonar's a weird one.
They're like D-list villains. I never thought Green Lantern, other than Sinestro, everybody else was like D-list.
And then even Sinestro, if you go back and read the original Sinestro stories, they're idiotic. There was one I was reading one where it was and this was like I think his second or third appearance. He's living on Quard, Sinestro is, and they're having an election to determine who's the most evil. And he's like, I will win to be the most evil. And I'm like, this is the 60s.
I think I mean, you were talking about it earlier. I love the Flash's Rogues Gallery, though.
I love the Rogues Gallery.
Goldface. Dun dun dun.
Stupid.
Dun dun dun.
The Maid of Wood Killer. Oh, is that like the Maid of Wood Killer? No, they're not kidding. I thought it was like, oh, they mean like Floronic Man? No, the Mane of Woodkiller, because I guess the Alan Scott Green Lantern.
Alan Scott, that takes him down,
Wood.
Wood.
Which for a gay man is interesting.
Wood takes him down.
Yeah, it's a gay. He was telling us from the beginning he was gay. You can't say we didn't know that. He was saying like, look, guys, my weakness is wood, and everybody's like, oh wow, what a weird weakness. And he's like, oh, I was being serious, okay. And we kept going with that joke for 60 years.
Oh my God!
Oh, now you're going to eBay. Now where we go?
Now we get to see watch eBay watch list. There we go.
No, my watch. I don't think my watch list isn't anything special. My watch list is just more Addams Family, different versions of New Yorkers. They're all cheap. They're all cheap because nobody knows what they have. Nobody did the research. Ricky did the research, and then now it's just recommending a bunch of Star Trek. Well, anyway, we're gonna stick around behind camera, just to wrap things up. Everybody, Beekeeper was the best documentary ever. But this was a fun experiment. I know what I need to do to improve with my lighting to get my little altar over there. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you. You could be doing anything on a Friday night, and you hung out with 3 virgins. So thanks for stopping by. Subscribe to everybody. We love you so much. I'm ending the stream.